The cream of the crop! Nobody does it better.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Fly, and it's another episode of What Happens After Wano. We already went through the three monster trio, the chef, Sanji, the first mate Zoro, and the captain Luffy. Now it's our time to talk about the sniper, Usopp. Now I've already went to length talking about Usopp and his character in previous videos. Go check out the what to expect with Elbaf as I go into detail what I think is going to happen with Usopp and his character. But I will still reiterate what I think will happen with Usopp and his character development, as well as abilities and powers that he will gain after Wano. One of those things is observation haki. We've seen that in Dressrosa he unlocked his observation haki, and actually it's one of the best observation haki we've seen throughout the series, along with Katakuri and Rayleigh, as he was able to sense a person from across the island when he was aiming at Sugar, and that is a crazy feat in of itself. I say this in almost every video talking about Straw Hats, but Usopp really is one of my favorite characters. When the story focuses on him and his character, he's one of the best in the series. Out of all the characters in One Piece, Usopp is probably the one I have the highest expectations of. Now back to observation haki, we actually haven't seen Usopp do anything involving his observation haki ever since Dressrosa. He hasn't even mentioned it, so I don't know if he got better with it or if he talked to some of the Straw Hats. Maybe he had a side conversation with some of the Straw Hats, maybe like Zoro or Sanji, and told him what happened at Dressrosa, and they told him, oh yeah, that was observation, so maybe Usopp has gotten better with his observation. Usopp is a sniper, so his sight is very valuable to him, and him developing his observation should be the most important thing. He probably has an affinity in observation haki. I can see Usopp developing armament haki to a lesser extent, but his job is being the sniper and doing things in the background and shooting things from afar instead of being up close and personal. Although we have seen characters use their armament haki and haki in ranged attacks, such as all the ladies in Amazon Lily using their arrows and putting armament haki in them, so Usopp could develop that and using armament haki, his various plants, techniques, and slingshot ammo. And since they're in the middle of a war surrounded by enemies, I can definitely see Usopp upgrading his observation haki to the point where he's able to pinpoint people all across the island, and even to the point where he can see everyone that's on the island, similar to Rayleigh and Fujitora, which would be great for a sniper, as he should be able to know exactly where his opponent and enemy is located at all times. Now we know that haki gets better the more you use it, the more battles you're in, and the more you're in a dire situation and backed up into. Usopp is often in some of those situations, so his observation haki is gonna get better, and he might even unlock further haki like armament and possibly King's Hawk. I have talked about this in previous videos, and it's a theory going around in the community that not just Luffy but some other members of Straw Hats will gain Conqueror's Haki, and in my personal opinion I have no issues with Usopp getting it. It would be perfect for his character development, as he is a weakling or a coward and he wants to be a brave warrior of the sea, so him getting Conqueror's Haki is kind of comes full circle. And we know that Conqueror's Haki, you're born with it, so maybe Usopp just hasn't been into a situation or position where he needs to unlock it or use it, where we've seen that most people who use it need to be backed up into a serious corner, such as when Ace fighting Blue Jam, Doflamingo being crossed up, and Luffy when Ace was about to get executed. So there might be a situation where Usopp's completely surrounded and he's about to be attacked, or someone that is close by to him is about to be attacked, and he unleashes his Conqueror's Haki. And we know that Usopp lies usually come true, and back in Fishman Island, Usopp did say that he used haki to take out all the fishmen, which wasn't true. We know it was Luffy, but that could be foreshadowing for a later event. Usopp actually checks all the requirements and the criteria to having Conqueror's Haki, as we've seen throughout the story that he's an excellent leader, and everywhere he goes he leaves his mark, such as Sky Island introducing them to rubber, resulting in a statue built in his honor, and the same happened again in Dressrosa when Usopp helped the dwarves, and he's the sole reason why the Straw Hats ended up getting a grand fleet and they consider him God. And we know that Conqueror users are usually want to be the king or the ruler of something, and we know that Usopp has a little alter ego named Soge King, where he claims to be the king of the snipers, and we've seen at the end of pre-time skip when he was training that he wanted to become the king of the snipers so he can help Luffy become king of the pirate. I mentioned this in the Elbaf video that the only thing really holding Usopp back in gaining Conqueror's Haki is my little observation of it, in that all users of King's Haki, the first time they've unleashed Haki was always Conqueror's Haki. While we've seen all the other characters, the first Haki that they've unlocked was observation, such as with Kobe in the Marineford War, with the only exception being possibly Zoro when he learned the Breath of Things and he cut Mr. One, which sounded similar to Rio that we learned in Wano, that uses the same sort of principles. But we definitely shouldn't rule out the possibility of Usopp gaining Conqueror's Haki in the future. Now I also mentioned in the Elbaf video that Usopp might come into a confrontation and a battle with Big Mom, where they both have a similar connection, being the Elbaf Giants, where Big Mom absolutely despises the Elbaf Giants for not accepting her for who she is, while Usopp admires the Elbaf Giants because he loves who they are brave warriors. So the two of them might get into conflict once they get into Elbaf, or maybe in Wano where Usopp learns more about Big Mom and her connection to Elbaf Giants. And to have Usopp confront an emperor would be magnificent and a great character development for him, where a coward like Usopp ended up standing 10 toes down and confronting an emperor of the sea. That's just fantastic in my eyes if that were to ever happen. Now there is another major event for Usopp besides going to Elbaf that needs to happen before the series ends, and will happen after Wano, or could happen during Wano, and that his reunion with his father, Usopp. Many people don't really know or understand, or I guess forgot, that the whole reason for Usopp's dream is because of his father. He wants to know why his father left and ended up becoming a pirate, and wants to know what it is to be a brave warrior of the sea, that the fact that his father ended up leaving his entire family become a pirate. And that might sound like bad, like, oh my god, why would he want to see him? That sounds like a bad father. But instead, Usopp actually admires his father and wants to hear and learn more about him, and he was ecstatic at the fact that Luffy knows him and that he's on Red Hair Shanks' crew. And we do actually know that Usopp loves his son, especially because he's always talking to Luffy about him. And when Usopp's bounty poster came out with God Usopp, Usopp saw it and was laughing. He seemed very proud. So their reunion is going to be a really great moment, and I can't wait for him to see them bond and what they can learn from each other, and all sorts of stories going on between father and son. Also can't wait to see what kind of effect Usopp will have on Usopp once they finally meet, and what Usopp can learn from his father and becoming a brave. Once the Straw Hats make it to Elbaf, it's obvious that Usopp's gonna gain them a lot more allies with the Giants, and that's gonna piss Big Mom even more because of the fact she's been wanting them as allies, but she can't, and yet this guy Usopp is able to do that, and the legend of Usopp will grow once more. And honestly, I can see them building a statue in Usopp's name on Elbaf, which would be really dope for his character. And a great character moment when the Giants consider Usopp as one of their own, in that you might not be a giant and you might be smaller than us, but we consider you as one of us, and you are a brave warrior just like us. And I think now is a great time to bring it up, in that I don't know if some of you guys have noticed that there hasn't been a single pirate with an eye patch in all of One Piece. We've seen people with hooks, peg legs, even animals on their shoulders with Lucci, but yet no character with an eye patch. And the eye patch is one of the most iconic things and one of the biggest stereotypes in all of pirate history, in that whenever you think of a pirate, you think of someone with a parrot, a peg leg, and an eye patch, but yet there's no character with an eye patch. There was an interview a long time ago that Oda did state that he plans on a character with an eye patch appearing at the end of the story, but he also said something very interesting, in that he wanted to draw the story of a normal looking pirate and his story of becoming a pirate. So that kind of sounds like to me that someone in the Straw Hats might end up getting the eye patch. So what if this character that ends up having an eye patch is not Luffy, which would be kind of cool, but instead is Usopp, a brave warrior, and we've seen his journey throughout the story of how he became a coward into a brave warrior, and he ends up getting an eye patch, which is probably the most piratey thing that could happen to someone. And Usopp getting an eye patch and losing an eye would be pretty cool. So maybe Usopp gets into a battle in the near future with maybe a certain other sniper on the Blackbeard Pirates, Van Augur, and they're battling across the island shooting at each other, and Van Augur ends up shooting out Usopp's eye. It would be a cool and great way to show all of Usopp's hard work and hardships throughout the series, and end up losing an eye and showing how hard it is to be a pirate, but also showing that he is a warrior through and through to the very end, and having his own little scar would be kind of cool. And what more proof do you need of your battles and hardships than an eye patch and showing that you are a real pirate? Also, Usopp's observation by the end of the series is probably going to be so good where he doesn't even need that eye, as we've seen with Fujitora, who has no eyes, but his observation is so good where he can still kind of see regardless. So the same thing I can see happening with Usopp. Or the person with an eye patch ends up becoming Blackbeard, because originally Oda designed Blackbeard with an eye patch. And in terms of bounty, I'm actually not sure what type of bounty Usopp will have. I can see him having a very high, but I don't see Usopp getting past 1 billion just yet. I think by the end of the series he will have a bounty of over 1 billion, but not right now. I mean, it would be very funny and cool if Usopp was the only other character besides Luffy to get a bounty of 1 billion because of something that he did, or a misinformation that happened and it was actually someone else, but he ended up getting the spotlight and the glory, so he ended up getting a bounty of 1 billion, which would be hilarious because you know he'd be scared, but low-key a little proud that he got a bounty of 1 billion. While other shots like Sanji, Zoro, and Frankie are mad at Usopp, like, why do you get a 1 billion and we don't? I would just find that super hilarious. Usopp's destined for great things, and I can't wait to see what comes out of it. I love the lies that he comes with, that every time he makes up a lie, it ends up becoming true. So be on the lookout of other lies that Usopp has made in the series that haven't come true yet, because it's quite possible that they'll become true later on in this series. Also, I wouldn't be surprised that the narrator is revealed to be Usopp and he's actually talking to Kaya about his adventures throughout the world of One Piece, or to these other people, and then when the story finishes and he's done narrating, they're like, that's such a lie, that didn't happen, and then he's like, it did happen, because no one believes him. Anyways, that's the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to rate the video, subscribe, and click the bell icon to stay notified. Also follow me over on twitch.tv/FlyFlizzy, where we have cool streams, chill, vibe, and all that fun stuff. Put down in the comments what you think of Usopp, also your favorite moment with Usopp, and what abilities, power-ups he'll gain after Wano. Also what his new bounty will be. But that's it, guys. Hope you guys have a good day and a good night. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Toodles!